A few months ago, I tried to create my very own multi-agent personal stylist assistant, and I failed. The reason being is that I had trouble connecting all the agents together. But that all changed this week because this week at Build, we announced Connected Agents. It's a feature within the Azure AI Agent service that breaks down complex tasks and then coordinates them into specialized roles across multiple agents. And here's the best part. It doesn't require any custom orchestration or any hand-coded logic for the routing. I'm going to show you how to set it up. But first, let me break down what each of the agents do. The stylist agent decides on which sub-agent to activate based on the prompt that I provide to it, as well as a set of instructions that we give the agent when we connect them all together. That stylist agent is also going to be responsible for giving me the final response. Then we have the weather agent. This sub-agent is responsible just for getting the weather. That's all it does. And then we have the closet sub-agent. That agent's going to be responsible for retrieving an item of clothing from the database that it has access to. So let's now go create the agents. I already have mine set up in the Azure AI Foundry portal. Alternatively, you could also create your agents with the Azure AI Foundry extension in Visual Studio Code, or you can create them programmatically with code, also in Visual Studio Code. But since I have mine already set up in the portal, that's where we're going to check these out. So starting off with the stylist agent, you'll create your agent as you would any agent in the Azure AI Foundry portal. You'll give it a name, the deployment, and some instructions, and if there's any knowledge or any tools you want to add, you can add that as well. The weather agent, I did this one a little special just for the sake of a demo. Now, I technically do have a code version of the weather agent that actually uses a parser from LangChain to actually extract the location provided in the user prompt, and then it takes that location, well, the city in this case, and it passes that into the API call to the weather API, and that's how we retrieve the weather. I didn't set that up for this demo, but if you're interested in seeing that, do let me know. In any case, I hard-coded the weather in this case and the location for Los Angeles at 85 degrees Fahrenheit because it's pretty hot here in LA right now. Now, in addition to that, I have the closet agent. So the closet agent actually has knowledge added to it, and those are going to be some files that I've created for the clothing items that I'm using for this demo, and they're actually clothing items that are in my closet. If you want to see what those files look like, let me show you in Visual Studio Code. I created them as markdown files, and they're all consistent across the board in terms of formatting. I start off with a description of the item, the brand or the designer, the color, the fabric and the materials, the care instructions, and key features. So back here in Foundry, I added those as knowledge. Again, if you're already using agents in Azure AI Foundry, this is the same experience. Now here's where things get interesting. Back over in that stylist assistant, if I scroll down towards the bottom, we have this new connected agents section. That's where you're going to go to connect the agents to that main stylist agent. And as you can see here, I already have the closet agent as well as the weather agent connected. To add a new one, I would select add. Now, because I already have all my agents in my project connected, there's not going to be any more that shows here in this drop down to select an agent. But if I had another one that wasn't connected yet to this agent, it would show here in this list. You'll also give it a unique name, and then if there are any tools that are attached to this agent, they'll display there. And then you have to provide detailed steps to activate the agent. So let's go take a look at the connection to that closet agent to see what those activation details entail. So opening that up, I can see that I say to only activate if the user's original prompt contains a direct reference to a clothing item. And then I also have information on here on when not to activate this particular agent as well. The more details you can provide, the better with respect to ensuring that the main agent kicks things off to the right sub-agent. Okay, so I know you're curious to see me test this out because you want to see it in action. So let's go try things out in the agent playground. Now, because the stylist agent is my main agent, we want to try in playground from the stylist agent itself. Now, once the playground has loaded, I can see just as everything that we saw on the prior screen. I can now actually go ahead and submit a prompt. I'm going to say, I'm in Los Angeles. Should I wear my J. Crew sweater? We're not passing a lot of details into here. We want to see just how great the agents do together, purely based off the information that I gave it. So let's go ahead and press submit. And so again, I passed in the location, which is Los Angeles, and then I just described the brand and the type of the clothing, which is a sweater in this case. Now, based on what the agent has been able to find, it did say like, hey, it's 85 degrees in Los Angeles. It's a rather warm day. Therefore, that J. Crew cropped fuzzy cashmere V-neck sweater being made of cashmere is going to be best suited for cooler temperatures. So given today's heat, it actually insists that this is going to make me uncomfortably warm. This is doing exactly what I wanted to do. Not only did it get that weather, despite hard coding it, I know, but not only did it take that weather into account from the weather agent, it also did that lookup with the closet agent for the items that I have in my database. It looked at the fabrication of the clothing item for the item that was retrieved, which is that J. Crew sweater. And then that stylist agent said, hey, you know what? Given this information, this sweater's not going to work. So let's take things a step further. I want to follow up now and ask, okay, what about my Marni top? Just leave it as simple as that. And again, now it's hopefully invoking that closet agent. It's going to look through there and try to find what Marni top I have. And here we go. The Marni short sleeve denim button down shirt is a good option for today's sunny and warm 85-degree weather. That is doing exactly what I wanted to do. And it's also giving me some styling tips, which I added to the system message for the stylist agent as well. So this is great. And you're probably wondering, okay, April, how do I migrate away from the agent playground to now doing things programmatically with code? Well, we have a new feature available here in the Azure AI Foundry portal to help you with that migration. Starting here within the agent playground, if you select view code, you're going to get an actual sample code that you can copy and paste into Visual Studio Code and start integrating this into the app that you're building. Now, we have this new little blue button in here that says Open in VS Code. This opens up a browser environment for Visual Studio Code. It carries everything over from this project that you're working in, including your code, and it gives you the sample code so you can actually run it. You can continue to test. This is a temporary environment. I believe it gives you about 4 hours or so, but this enables you to continue to test things out without having to worry about navigating over into Visual Studio Code in the desktop, but you could navigate over to there if you'd like. So you have options, and I love options. A girl loves options. So this environment has all the dependencies that you're going to need, and in addition to that, we are using the power of the Azure AI Foundry extension in here as well. If you haven't tried that extension yet, do try it out. All right, we are set up in here, and if I open up run_agent.py, this is literally all the code that I need. Now, there's a slight caveat that I want to throw in here just in case you're just getting started with that. This line here that says thread, we need to modify this. If you run this code as is, what it's going to do is return the conversation that's assigned to this particular thread because it's getting that thread. We don't want to do that. We want to modify this code to actually create the thread instead. So we're not getting an existing thread, we want to create a thread. So to do that, we're just going to paste that in there to call the create_thread method. And then we'll also need to add in content for the message itself. I'm going to do a new one. Let's see this time if I were to say, I'm in Los Angeles. Should I wear my Lanvin pants? Okay. Now, when I run this, what it should hopefully do is go find those Lanvin pants in that database of clothing. Now, let's see. So let's give that a try. Python run agent.py and hope for the best. All right, we got a response. So what I have here is that it's 85 degrees in Los Angeles, which is warm and sunny. And it says, let's assess those Lanvin pants that you spoke of. All right, they're silk. Therefore, they work, just given the fabrication of the material. I'm in so much shock at just how great this works in terms of stringing multiple agents to work together. There's one more thing I want to show you because I did mention this whole thread business. You can view the threads back over in the Azure AI Foundry portal. So let's hop on over to there. So back over here in the agent section, I'm able to see all the threads from the conversation that I've had with the stylist agent. And if I select this one, I can see that in the beginning of that first conversation, the weather agent was invoked and we got the weather itself. Next, we then see that the closet agent was invoked as well. You'll notice here in the messages that the text or string, if you will, that's been passed over to this agent does look different than the prompt that I input. What's happening is that stylist agent is actually summarizing what it is that the request is that I submitted to the agent. So we can see here, find my J. Crew sweater is what's been passed over to the agent for the closet, and then we got a response back from that closet agent. If you're creating multi-agent solutions, I highly suggest checking out connected agents within the Azure AI Foundry agent service. If you're interested in seeing a complete code-first walkthrough of how to set this up, let me know down in the comments because I will record that video. Well, I hope you're enjoying Build and happy coding.